Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Takuzo Nyakutambwa. I am a part of Group A, and currently on display are the details of my group members who worked very hard with me to research and put together this document that I'm going to be presenting to you today. So what is it that I'm going to be talking to you about? Today I'm going to be presenting to you on the characteristics of big data, specifically for Econet Wireless Zimbabwe. Who is Econet, you may ask? Econet is one of the largest telecommunications companies in Zimbabwe, leading the market with over 12 million connected customers and providing a wide range of products and services. This organization is collecting data from various sources, which includes some of their retail shops, their call and SMS records, USSD interface, customer registrations, base stations, social media platforms, to mention a few. They've managed to expand their business thanks to the availability of this data that they collect, and I'm sure we have all seen the birth and the rise of platforms such as EcoCash, Via, Stewart Bank, EcoSure, EcoPharma, only to mention a few. There are so many of them, and this is all thanks to the data that they collect and make good use of. What is big data? Big data is a large collection of data that continues to grow over time, and it can come from a various number of sources, such as customer profiles, financial transactions, base stations, as I mentioned before, social media platforms, and many other sources. There are a lot, and I cannot name them all. This data can either be structured, semi-structured, or unstructured, and there is no specific standard for amount that can be considered as big data. Advantages of having this big data for organizations as large as Econet include improved customer service, better decision making, and better operational efficiency. And so now that we know what big data is, we move on to the types of big data. Now we can have three types of big data, namely structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. What is the difference? Structured data is data that is well defined, easy to understand, and in a fixed format. It can come in neat rows and columns, such as when you have your customer profiles that contain the ID numbers, your names, your addresses, and all that important information neatly arranged and can be stored in a relational database management system, such as MS Access, MySQL. There are so many of them. This structured data can as well be machine generated. It can come from sensors or other smart devices, or it can be human generated, which simply means it is just entered by the user. Unstructured data. This is data that is known for not being organized and not well defined. This means that it can be very difficult to handle, understand, and analyze, and it has no consistent format. Examples include text messages, your usual comments, shares, posts, and likes on social media. This is what we know as unstructured data. It is not arranged in any specific format that makes it easy to analyze. Then semi-structured data. We are saying that this is data that can contain both forms, meaning structured and unstructured. It is somewhat structured but not completely, as it does not obey any formal structures of data models such as the relational database management systems that we mentioned before. And examples include CSV files and XML files. I'm sure we've all worked with CSV files in our data science course, so we should easily know what those look like. So now that you know who Econet is and what big data is, I'm going to move on to the characteristics of big data. So, primarily, these characteristics are made up of the 5 V's, which are volume, velocity, variety, veracity, and value, which I am going to be talking about one by one in relation to the company we have chosen, which is Econet Wireless Zimbabwe, how they have used their big data and how it has helped them in their operations. So, to start off, the first V I'm going to be talking about is variety. What is variety? This refers to the heterogeneous types and sources of data. Data sources have since evolved from the traditional databases and spreadsheets. And in the case of Econet, data is generated from different sources such as customer profiles, social media platforms, base stations, financial transactions, customer logs, customer feedback. I've talked about most of these before, so I'm sure you still remember them. Other sources as well include the retail shops, the call and SMS records, the USSD interface, customer registrations, and platforms such as Via, Sasai, EcoCash, Steward Bank, the usual Econet platforms. I'm sure everyone should be well aware of these ones. These data types can range from text files, PDFs, media files, and one advantage that Econet has is it's also able to collect huge amounts of data from other large organizations such as banks. For example, with the bank-to-wallet service, this works with a number of banks, be it with Steward Bank, ZB Bank, Barclays, whatever bank you're using. You can link your bank account to your EcoCash account, and you can be able to transact between the two seamlessly. And there is a significant amount of data that is then collected from those transactions by Econet, and it can put that data to great use as well. Moving on to the next V, which is volume. This refers to the large amounts of data generated or collected in huge organizations. The data volumes can vary, but the data must be large for it to be considered big data. Econet reportedly has a collection of 12 million customers, and its data is generated from a wide variety of sources and platforms. The size is crucial for understanding the value of the data. The bigger the size, the better the value. The volume also helps us to determine whether a collection of data is considered big data or not. And well, with Econet, they've implemented what is known as distributed BSC, otherwise known as distributed base station controllers, to manage the huge flow of base station traffic. For example, they have the Pockets Hill base station controller as well as the Willowville base station controller. I will explain a bit of these in detail shortly. Because of the large volumes of data handled by Econet, they've also come up with a separate data center where their data warehouse is situated and is responsible for the storage, management, and the processing of the data that they collect on a daily basis. Okay, so the next V that I'm going to be talking about is value, which simply refers to the usefulness and reliability of all this data that is being collected by Econet. So as we all know, data is the new oil, and Econet has huge sets of data, meaning more value for them and for their customers and for all their stakeholders. Econet is well known to make good use of their data for business growth, efficiency, and improved service delivery. We have all seen the rise and seamless integration of platforms such as Sasai, Fire, EcoCash, EcoSure, EcoPharma, Steward Bank. This was all because Econet already had data that they could then use to make sure that the launch of these new platforms would be much simpler, and well, they made use of insights gained from analyzing that data as well. So as I mentioned before, Econet has those BSCs, those base station controllers, and they can use those to monitor the number of connected subscribers in real time and make optimization decisions accordingly. This means that, for example, if it's a base station, they're able to tell how many customers are connected to a particular base station at a given time and be able to make optimization decisions in order to improve the service delivery for network, for their calls, and many other decisions can be made using the same method. Data is considered valuable data only after data scientists convert it into information, clean it, analyze it, and carry out pattern identification. This helps to gain useful insights that help a business to make informed business decisions. Data of poor quality can lead to financial losses in revenue, and for companies as big as Econet, such losses can be quite huge. Econet also collects, they also have a collection of statistics and customer feedback from their customer service platforms, and they've also managed to establish meaningful relationships with various organizations that have reached out to Econet, seeking to also make use of their data through services such as bulk SMS and targeted advertising as well. And these relationships as well bring more value and more data for Econet, only helping them to grow bigger and bigger. All thanks to data. Moving on. The next V I'm going to be talking about is veracity, which refers to the degree of accuracy, integrity, or trustworthiness of datasets. Removal of things like abnormalities, duplication, bias, or inconsistencies to ensure accuracy is also a part of veracity. Econet collects data from various sources, and this may cause issues with the quality of data collected. So, to encounter these problems, methods have been put in place, such as verification, cleansing, and filtering of data once it's collected. This helps with the handling of mistakes that may arise from data capturing points, and examples of these methods include the mandatory requirements for one to produce proof of residence, their ID documents, and the likes when they are registering as a new customer with Econet. Online customer registration has actually been prohibited to maintain integrity, meaning customers actually have to go in store or visit an Econet branch in order to register as a new customer. New customers are also only activated after the registration process has been successful. Also, bad data can lead to errors in analysis that undermine the value of business analytic initiatives, and valid results are produced when the data management and analytics teams ensure that they have enough accurate data available. So that's just about it on veracity. Moving on to velocity. Velocity refers to the rate at which data is generated or collected. Mainly has to do with the speed. Econet collects large amounts of data daily, and most of it only becomes useful after it is analyzed and processed to meet demands. Massive amounts of this data is continuous and is generated from a variety of sources such as the base stations, the financial transactions, customer service platforms, and so on. There is a customer performing an action on Econet platforms every second countrywide. This means more than 2 million calls, 1.5 SMSs, and gigabits of data being routed per second. Other actions include USSD transactions, purchases of airtime and other Econet products, as well as the new registrations of new customers. And all of this is done in real time. Econet then employs a data analytics and management team that implements analytical processes that help to automatically find patterns in the data and use them to generate useful insights that can be used by the business to make more informed decisions that help to grow the business, improve business operations, improve efficiency, improve service delivery, and also just overally help to improve the business in itself. So, to conclude, Econet has data scientists and data analysts working at their data center, making use of modern programs and tools to identify patterns and gain insights on their data. Utilizing this data, Econet has been seen to improve its business operations and efficiency. They have been making more informed decisions. Their profits have also been very high. Marketing, sales, and research has been more efficient, inspiring business growth. And they've had competitive advantages in the industry. And they have also been the leaders when it comes to innovation, as they are always the first to successfully launch many of the new products, bringing change into Zimbabwe as a whole. So, as we can see, Econet, being a large company, has been collecting and making great use of the many forms of data that they collect on a daily basis, and this has helped them to stay relevant in the business and to grow over time. That is all for today. Thank you very much.